Just kidding, it's just me, Derek. Hi. Yeah, I have a Freddy mask. I know, right? Big surprise. This Christmas I had kind of a good idea, and it was to watch, some Nightmare on Elm Street movies, kind of like a Nightmare Before Christmas marathon kind of deal. Because during this time, all the Christmas movies are on TV. You get kind of sick of it, so maybe you want to watch some horror movies or something. So that's what I did. I didn't watch all of the Freddy movies, just a select few. So I'll talk about what I watched, and I encourage you to have your own Nightmare Before Christmas marathon. If you're sick of all the Christmas stuff and you want to kind of revisit some of your favorite Freddy movies, or maybe ones you haven't seen in a while, stuff like that. So, first one I watched, kind of like to psych myself up for the whole marathon, was something I've been wanting to watch for a really long time, and that's Never Sleep Again, The Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy. This documentary came out in the summer, but I never got a chance to watch it until right now, because I found it in the store the other day, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, finally got to see it, and it's incredible, really thorough. It's 4 hours long, damn. But, really informative, lots of great interviews, really revealing interviews that, a lot of stuff I didn't even know, and I call myself a fan, but, and some of the interviews are really funny, too. So, really great, documentary. It's probably been said a million times before, but if you're a fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, it's well worth watching this, and it's 4 hours well spent. So, after that, of course, I watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the Blu-ray. Great sound and picture on the Blu-ray, and they made little tweaks to it and everything. They framed one scene where, Freddy falls onto a mattress, a stunt person falls onto a mattress. They framed that differently so you can't see the mattress anymore. So, little details like that, and just, it's never looked better. Looks completely great, even for an older, lower budget movie. So, really impressed with the Blu-ray, and, just the movie in general. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. And yeah, not much more to say about that, except, it's kind of a little unfortunate, that I feel almost like I have to defend the movie now. Kind of ever since the remake came out, because a lot of people kind of are coming out of the woodwork, and people who like the remake, and they'll say the original wasn't all that good, and it's shut up. You're entitled to like a movie if you want, but you shouldn't degrade another movie while doing it, I think. And I think since the remake has come out, a lot of people are kind of revealing what exactly their tastes are, because I think there are two different ways that a fan can view this movie. And some people can appreciate it on a deeper level, because, Wes Craven, he is a deeply intelligent filmmaker, despite, directing some shitty movies, but he is very intelligent, and this movie kind of explores dreams and all kinds of themes and archetypes, and it's more than just your average slasher movie, and a lot of people think that, but then there are the other people who kind of just see the whole Freddy killing people in their dreams thing. It's just a gimmick, right? Instead of a killer finding them in the woods, it's in the dreams. So it is a slasher to them, but just with that different kind of gimmick, which, it takes away from the movie, and it's much better than that in my opinion. And oh yeah, one more thing that I just hate, ever since the remake came out, it's best to ignore these kinds of people, but you'll go on a message board or something, or read a review, and this idiotic comment always comes up, and some people will say, the ending was so stupid and cheesy, it was too much like Home Alone with Nancy setting up the traps and everything. That annoys the hell out of me. It really pisses me off, because it's such a stupid and illogical argument, and most people who say that can't elaborate past that anyway. Oh, it's cheesy, too much like Home Alone. But for one thing, this movie came out before Home Alone, 1984, right? And what if someone had not seen Home Alone? Would seeing Home Alone before seeing this movie somehow affect your enjoyment of it? So I don't really get that whole argument there. So yeah, done with that rant. But you know, most people, real fans, love the movie, so whatever. Uh, Also watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, a great follow-up. If you want to skip part 2, right? This is like the fan favorite, sort of. Like when I was younger and would rent these movies at the video store. This is the one that I'd rent the most. I don't know what it is about it. Like, it's a really cool concept that like the all the kids on Elm Street, they kind of like realize that they do have a shared predator killing them in their dreams and everything. So they're able to finally realize that and get together and go into each other's dreams and also use the dreams to their advantage, which I thought was a cool idea. And you know, it's just this was the movie where like Freddy started with the one-liners and everything, but like it walks the line really gracefully. I think like it does have scares, but it does have a dark sense of humor to it. So I think none of the sequels could ever really get it quite as good as this one. So I think that's why a lot of people really cherish this movie. So yeah, love it, love it. So jumping way ahead, I went to Freddy vs. Jason, and one of my main reasons watching this, funnily enough, is just because this is the only movie that I can think of. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the only movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street series that acknowledges that Freddy is wearing a Christmas sweater, right? I don't think any other movie in the series anyone acknowledges that. So it was funny to see like Kelly Rowland, you know, taunting Freddy and say, "What are you doing in a Christmas sweater?" Right? So I don't know. And I guess it fits in well with the theme of my Christmas Freddy marathon, right? I don't know. Finally, I watched the remake, Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. If you've seen some of the other videos on this channel, I have reviews of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and at the end of my big review thing, I talk about the remake, and the remake hasn't come out yet at that point, so I was saying, you know, I'm excited for it, I'm hoping it's going to be good and everything. So, depending on if you, like, know my channel or anything, those are re-uploads. Those were originally uploaded in the summer. So, I did do reviews of the remake, and I wasn't a big fan of it, and I'm bummed out that my channel ended up getting closed down for a whole different reason. Because I felt like I was able to exercise my feelings on the remake. Like, I did 2, like, 15-minute videos, so I'm ranting on for a half an hour about this movie, so, I don't know. Yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of it. Basically, I could, like, write a whole essay on what was wrong with it, but, just to put it as, my biggest complaint, let's say, is that, kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddys Revenge, they didn't quite have a good grasp on the character. Like, you know, it's not as outrageous as, like, possessing people or anything, but what they kind of did was they degraded it to a petty revenge story, almost, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, when you look at the original Freddy, he's child killer and molester, but the molestation is more implicit, whereas with the remake, it's explicit and the child killing is non-existent. So, you know, I have complaints about that too, but basically, Freddy, he has an agenda in the movie, and he has, like, a specific list of kids to kill. Like, I think it's, like, about 12 kids from the preschool and stuff, so that kind of, like, that demystifies Freddy a little bit. Like, with Freddy, the original Freddy, you don't know how many, like, parents were involved with killing him and everything, or how many kids he's going for, so it gives you a feeling like no one's safe. But with this movie, it's like, okay, he's going through a list, and then what? When he's done killing all the kids, he'll be whatever? I don't know. But, yeah, you're probably wondering why I own this, like, if I don't like it so much, but, you know, for one thing, I found it at Blockbuster. It was only $7, so it didn't really break the bank that much, and, another thing is, I am a fan of these movies, so as a fan, I feel like you should at least owe it to yourself to give these movies the benefit of the doubt. Like, have them in your collection and watch them every once in a while, because maybe your feelings on it might change, and also it's Freddy. It's a new Freddy movie, and that's cool. Like, as bad as the movie may be, like, I think most of the problem has to be with the writing. Like, I thought Jackie Earl Haley did an incredible job as Freddy. I'm not one of those people who will complain that, oh, Robert Englund isn't Freddy, right? I thought Jackie Earl Haley, he is Freddy to me. Like, he's the new Freddy. He's great. Nothing will overtop Robert Englund, but Jackie Earl Haley, they couldn't have possibly found a better replacement, and he is truly great. And at the end of the day, it's like, that's what you're seeing a Nightmare on Elm Street movie for. It's for Freddy. So, you know, it could have been better. I think most of the problem was with the writing, and like I said, they turned into a petty revenge movie, and kind of like I mentioned before, like there are two schools of thought on the Freddy movies, and one is a deeper path, and the other is just the gimmick of killing. And I thought this was more just the gimmick of killing people, like with, especially with the micronaps and everything. So, you know, didn't really explore dreams in a way that Wes Craven's film did. And another reason why I wanted to watch it again was like a thought kind of occurred to me, like a different way of viewing the movie, kind of like lateral thinking. Like the way I thought about viewing it was, it's not really a remake or a reimagining. Who this Freddy character is, he isn't actually Freddy, but he's a Freddy Krueger fan, and so much of a fan that he changed his name to Freddy Krueger, and it kind of like fills in the gaps, like to some nitpicks some fans may have. It's like, why does he have the glove? Why is there a boiler room and, you know, he works in a preschool and not as like a janitor or a groundskeeper or whatever, right? Well, he's just a really big Freddy fan, so that's why. And he's just a sick, twisted individual who rapes children, and he happens to be a huge Freddy fan. And maybe like a hole in this little theory is like, okay, if he's called Freddy, if he's dressed exactly like Freddy, looks like him, how come these kids aren't aware of Freddy Krueger, right? Well, okay, just think about this, okay? Think about like all like the 14-year-old kids who went to see this movie and loved it and everything. How many of them were actually aware that it was a remake? Yeah. Think about that. I don't know. It's stupid, but just kind of a fun way to look at it. I don't know. But, you know, I can't say I like hate it. I do think it's a poorly written movie, but hey, it's Freddy, right? And I can only hope that they make improvements with the sequel, and I'm sure there'll be a sequel. Like they're done rearranging the original and shitting all over it. Like now that they can go into their own territory, they can like tread their own waters. I don't know. I'm not writing Freddy's epitaph anytime soon. I love the characters, love the movies. I'm always gonna hold out hope for another great Freddy movie. So, yeah. And all I can say on this matter is, you know, you're entitled to like the movie. Like a lot of people like it. You know, people have their problems with it, but some people like it. Like you're totally entitled to like it. But if you think that it's better than the original, you are a moron. I'm sorry, but that's it. Like, you know, I won't be taking recommendations from you for movies if you say that this is better. So that's that. Well, anyway, probably running out of time here. So Merry Christmas, and we'll see you later.